Hey everyone, welcome back to Crankly Speaking. It's myself, Daryl Impey, and I'm joined by Simon Kessler. We're wrapping up a long 10-day Tour de France first week, probably the longest one they've had in a long time. Usually it's 9 days. And we're also going to be talking about answering some of your questions later in the show about the technology. We're also going to talk about Visma. We're going to talk about some tactics. We're going to talk, many things on the show today. But I think to start it off, let me hear from my man, Simon. What's been going on?
Hey, how's it? How's it, Daryl? How's it going in Australia? You doing good? Yeah.
Man, I'm in Australia. I'm getting red eyes. I've been watching the highlights in the morning. Actually, as my day unfolds, because of the time difference, it's actually the best part of the days. That is the start of the races in the Tour de France, actually. With Tadej and all the usual guys being so dominant and riders knowing there's not much opportunity to win some stages there because they're so dominant. It's just been great to watch the action unfold on some of these days because I find it's the best part because there's so many tactics unfolding in that first 2 hours in order for the break A to go away. And then it's like, as that break forms, it's like, oh, if they start riding straight away, it's probably going to be a boring day and one of the GC guys are going to win or it's going to be a sprint. But if they give that break time, you kind of want to stay up all night to see what unfolds. But yeah, then I look forward to the highlights in the morning, try and not open my phone and see who's won. But yeah, it's been a tough week, if we can call it that.
Yeah, it's here in the US in Colorado, you have to wake up at like 4 in the morning if you want to catch the start of the stage. Normally it ends around 9. So I normally catch the last few hours, but it's been exciting. It's been exciting to watch Ben Healey, CEF, get some glory. A smaller team to get glory in a race which is often dominated by the big budget teams has been amazing to see. What a rider he is. The courage, the determination that he has after winning that stage and then going away in the break, literally pulling those guys solo for much of the last few kilometers while the guys were chasing behind, not making any inroads into his time gap, and he still ended up third on the stage. I mean, Ben Healey, what do you think about him? He's just an incredible rider, isn't he?
Yeah, he's such a fighter. I remember the first time I met Ben Healy, well, when I raced against him was a race in Norway, Tour of Norway, I think it was. And we were in a breakaway together, and I just remember this guy attacking. He was young then, 20, I think, and he basically attacked us like 50k to go into a blockhead wind, and we were like, "Where's he going?" And man, none of us could get across to him, like the whole group. Everyone was trying eventually, like, "Wow, this guy's going." Eventually, it was just him alone at the end, and I think it was only Remco and a couple of others that caught him near the end. Yeah, then I knew, gee, this guy's got some horsepower. He's also super aero. I mean, he's got a different style to everyone. I just wish he just would ditch that skin suit and that whole like TT look every road stage. Like that's the one part I'm just like, I would love it to be a bit
Well,
more traditional, but I mean, it works for him. But yeah, what a bike race! I mean, he's stage winner already at the Tour de France, and then obviously like putting in a massive ride, and then going into the rest day in yellow. How cool is that? Like, and
well, I
also
think,
for a smaller
yeah.
country like Ireland, and it means it's a huge thing, man.
It's huge. It's huge. I mean, he actually grew up in the UK, so England, so similar to Dan Martin, who had an Irish father. But I guess he was dropped by the British national team, and so he decided to take on the nationality of his father, who's Irish. So that's really cool. But an interesting stat, like you mentioned about all the aero stuff, I think it really works for him because when I looked, they showed the summary of his power for the stage he won, and then Quinn Simmons also showed his power. Quinn obviously had a much bigger rider, but Ben Healy was like I think it was 330 watts normalized power for the stage, and Quinn was 390 watts. That's a big difference. So
It is,
those
but
aero those
Quinn's
aero
there.
gains are
Quinn's there.
it's maybe his hairstyle. I mean, that's a good 10, 15 watts. A mustache, maybe another 3 to 5 watts, right? But I mean, think about Ben Healy. He had the time trial Vittoria tires, the ones that actually puncture really easily. The Corsa Speed, I think they are from Vittoria. He had the Aero helmet. He had actually his regular time trial skin suit, but he cut the sleeves off, so it wasn't even a speed suit. It was actually a time trial skin suit. He has lace shoes, which are also supposed to be 3 to 5 watts faster than Boa's. aero socks. He had everything. So I mean, when you see that guy come to the start line kitted out like that, I mean, you actually want to be on his wheel because that's a day where if he's in the break, he's going to be flying.
Well, you never know because he dresses like that all the time, so you never know when he's going in the break. But yeah, I mean, sure, fantastic ride, and like you say, they do add up. 2 watts here, 5 watts there. Helmet maybe 10 watts, skin suit maybe 15 watts, whatever. But over the whole day, that makes a big difference. So yeah, I think, but it was clear. EF got to a point probably in the race went, you know what? Let's shift our focus a bit here. It would be great to win a stage. We already have a stage win with Ben, but right now we have a chance to actually put him like in the yellow jersey, which is a very rare opportunity for any team. Like if any team could say we could take a stage win or a yellow jersey, oof, it's a very tough or gamble on a stage win, or probably if we sink our teeth into this, take the yellow jersey. I think most teams would have done what EF did and just go, right, guys, let's just keep this thing away. And Ben, you just go into time trial mode, and then we just hope it's enough to get the yellow jersey. And it is. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, he's going to have a nice day tomorrow. It's going to be, he shouldn't lose the jersey, so that's great to hang on to it for one more day. And then we get into the big stuff, right? Then we get into the big, big mountains. He will lose it. Well, I'll put my hand in the fire that he won't arrive in Paris with the jersey on his back. But regardless of that, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Irish fans and a lot of people that are going to come to these next couple stages just to see Ben.
Totally. It was interesting also to watch the tactics behind it. Seems like Visma they're kind of annoying today. I don't know if that's their goal to like mess with him mentally, because they seem to be constantly attacking him. It was interesting because at one point Matteo attacks and Tadej's immediately there, but then Remco attacks and Tadej just lets Remco ride away. It's almost like there's this bit of an ego battle going on right now. Visma clearly are trying to create that fatigue over time, I think, by constantly attacking, trying to get his teammates dropped. But then we saw the last stage where Tadej was like, okay, guys, I'm going to show you who's boss. And he just lit it up. And again, you had Jonas just barely hanging on there. And then he sat up and he let Lenny Martinez cross the line, and he gave up the yellow jersey. Like it was clear that he actually wanted to give up the yellow jersey. Do you think these tactics from Visma, they've tried it before, it's worked before. A few years ago, they did something similar on the Galibier. They cracked him there. We're going to Autocam, where they've also ridden away and sealed the Tour de France victory a few years ago, where Wout did an incredible job, and today also blew up there where Jonas rode away on Autocam, which is coming on Thursday. So what are your thoughts on Visma? Do you think that these tactics are going to work out in the end, or you think Tadej is just going to show them who's boss ultimately?
Uh, Look, we'll only know about Paris if it worked out or not. I mean, credit where it's due. At least they've taken the race to him. I kind of get like, and it's been going around between a couple of mates of mine as well. Is that they're frustrated with Jonas the way he's racing as well, because it gets to like a point of like, oh, we're racing here, and then he goes into this like defensive mode. Yeah, which is like, I don't know if it's so. Are they just trying to make today work a little bit, and then they get to a point of that? Okay, he's under fatigue now, and he's chased a lot and done a lot. He doesn't have many teammates at that point. Like you saw Adam Yates the other day, he did a good ride, but you just see them all. UAE just keeps like fighting back all the time. Whereas Visma seem to have like a bit more control, a little bit more depth in that like point end. But then the interesting part for me is about the losing the jersey part. And I don't know if it's a UAE, like, let's buy some time. Our guys aren't completely ready yet. Maybe we need to kind of let someone else take control. We don't need to be the ones controlling the starts, because that's a lot of energy. When you have the jersey and you need to control the race and what's going to happen in the race, it's a lot of energy for all your teammates to do. Losing Almeida is a big thing. That's clear that they don't have an Almeida there at the end. So maybe today's just kind of going, you know what? I'll throw this jersey away. I'm not. I'm pretty sure I'm going to drop Ben Healey later in the race, but at this point, I wouldn't mind. getting my team back to showing like we're dominant. And at the moment, I think where Visma's going early is why they're attacking him so much is because they can sense that UAE doesn't look like they're on their best game as they have been in the other Tour de France's where they just used to ride the front and people were just at their mercy. Um, so it's interesting. Is Jumbo maybe potentially using this opportunity to gain some time? Or what do you think? What do you think they're trying to do?
Well,
Do you think
yeah,
it's too much too soon? And then like already we were talking about it earlier. This second week and the third week is nuts. Like I just kind
yeah.
of feel this is like just little things,
Well,
but I don't know if it's
yeah, I
going to
think the
make
last
it.
time, I think the last time they messed with him mentally and he fell into their trap was, I think it was 2 years ago, was it the Col de Galibier, where they were attacking him far out and he was like, okay, guys, I'm going to show you who's boss. And he ripped it up the Galibier. He rode everybody off, I think, except for Jonas. But then on the final climb, he completely cracked. And I think when they get him frustrated, then he's going to maybe just try and stick it to them and ride away. The difference, though, I think, compared to a few years ago, compared to today, is that I think he's actually stronger and better fatigue resistance. I know his training has changed significantly. Back then, he was coached by Inigo San Milan, a lot of zone 2 type training. In the last two years, he's been trained, I think, by Javier Solar. And I know their training is quite different in that he does a lot more strength training. He does a lot more torque training, which he didn't do before. And those two things already really help with that fatigue resistance towards the end of a hard stage. So I think the today from today is not the same as when they cracked him 2 or 3 years ago in the Tour de France. So I think they're trying to use the same tactics. Apparently Visma have a lot of outside advisors. I remember last time they used some soccer coach, remember, to come up with a plan to beat him. I don't know if they're still doing that, but apparently they've got a lot of these like outside advisors helping them to really like figure out how we're going to beat Tadej and win the Tour de France. So I think they're employing a similar tactic to what we saw a few years ago. But I don't think today, I think he's stronger than he was. And I don't think he's going to crack like he did back then. I mean, what do you think?
Well, I think Jonas hasn't missed a beat either, hey? I mean, okay, apart from the acceleration that today's got on those climbs, I think that's what hurts Jonas the most. But I don't think they, yeah, like, I mean, the time trial, I was a bit like, oh, okay, Jonas didn't have a great time trial for himself, you know? Um, but I don't think there's much in it yet, to be honest. I think, like, he's kind of reacted to everything. He's kind of taken the race to them. There's confidence there. It's going to be interesting. I mean, we're only going to know now when it's going to be this dark. I mean, when I looked at it, when was it stage? I'll tell you now. It's stage number 14, where we've got 5,000 meters of climbing, you know. That's a mega day. Like, and that's just following it. So the interesting thing is it's following the mountaintop time trial as well, the 10K. But there's a lot in that as well. Sometimes the athletes, sometimes the riders in that regard, they suffer after a time trial. So, you know, and it's also such a short day, 10K, and then it's the next day is like a big mountain day. Then there's like water retention. So all those things the athletes have to dial in. I don't know if you've had any you got any advice for some people, but there are like if you have a couple of big days and then you have like an easy day, it's quite common for riders to put on a fair bit of weight the following day because they're just not consuming so much calories or carbs and they're not burning that much. What do you think about
Yeah,
that?
I mean, definitely. There's your body when you're, inflamed and fatigued, your body draws in a lot of water. I've heard stories where riders, end up like 10 kilos heavier by the end of the Tour de France because they're so physically destroyed that their body just retains so much water, because of that inflammation. The body holds on to water to help with inflammation. And plus, if you're not sweating and you've got all those electrolytes, that sodium you've been consuming, that obviously adds to the extra water. That's why you see, like, I mean, some guys will ride 3-4 hours on an easy day, whereas other guys will just do like 30 minutes on the trainer. So I think it just depends on the rider, knowing yourself. What's also going to be a big challenge is move on to after the rest day. So not only do we have the time trial, which is a very short day, and also you think about it, guys like today. Well, I don't think so much today, but I know Visma use the Morton products before time trials, they take a lot of sodium bicarbonate. So then the next day they're going to be a kilo or two heavier typically, right? If you take a lot of sodium bicarbonate. I don't know what Tadej does, but I'm pretty sure Visma take that product, so that could also significantly affect them for the next day, add that extra water weight. So yeah, it's gonna be definitely interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's yeah, if you cock those 2 days up, yeah, it can have a big impact on that day. So, and then the next day you find that rider who got dropped the day before is like flying because they've just got rid of all that like fluid and just that excess like weight. Um, you must remember, like most of these riders are getting weighed daily by the team. So, and I used to hate that. I used to do my head in. Often I didn't do it because it did my head in so much. Like I would hate to see if I stood on the scale after a rest day and I'm up 2 kilos. I would basically that would be like race over for me nearly. So it'll be interesting to know how they manage that. Probably most of them don't even know or they don't look, but I would think most of them do look because they want to know everything. These guys. Um, yeah, I just think like, yeah, it's going to be a tough week. I don't see any opportunities except tomorrow's stage for the sprinters, really. The rest, and that could be a breakaway. I mean, the stage into Carcassonne, that's also pretty much a good chance for them. But even those days are, you know, at this stage of the tour, when it goes into Carcassonne stage 15, guys have had a beating for a couple of days. The opportunities are getting less and less. Sprinter teams are tired. They can't control anymore. Um, so I don't think it'll be an easy, flat out, guaranteed bunch finish. I mean, you saw the other day in the breakaway, the quality of these breakaways. And why are they quality breakaways? Because it's so hard to get into them. By the time the race is, after 2 hours of racing, it's only the strong boys that can attack. It's only the strong and the best of the best, and it has to be someone off on time. So then you're getting Yates, you're getting these guys. If you're a guy that's like targeting one of these stages and you think, gee, today's my day, you make the breakaway, but then you look around and you go, yeah, it's a finish that suits me, but I've got to get over this 8K climb, 15K to go or 20K to go. Normally, if I was in a normal break, I'd be okay. But then you have a look around and you see Mark Woods, you see Pere Pantre, you see all these riders around you, and you're like, okay, this is a quality breakaway. Simon Yates is here. Like, what are your chances then of winning? Very little. So that's why the breakaway is so tough, like the Tour de France, because it doesn't matter, even if it's a flat day for a breakaway, you could just get the right, you could get in the breakaway and just the one or two wrong guys are in there that can really make some damage on the climb. And then it's like a totally different race again. So, yeah, it's the dynamics to get in these breakaways and to figure them out and then to win from them. That's a huge thing.
Did you see the numbers from Vanderpool and his teammate? I think Ricard they averaged 300. Well, they did 3.5 hours. They averaged 50.7 k an hour. They attacked at the start and they got caught at like 700 meters to go by Vanderpool got caught. But I think Ricard's average power, I think, was like 400 or for like 3.5 hours, or 380 to 400 for three average, not normalized for like 3.5 hours. And they averaged over 50k an hour doing a two-man time trial. It was the fast. I think it was one of the fastest stages, right? Of
I mean, it was an awesome perform. I mean, it was an awesome performance, but I also to me, it's clear. Like, okay, as soon as Philipsen left, like what's wrong with Caden Groves? He's a top class sprinter, and he had Vanderpool leading him out. He would have had a chance, you know. If Jasper was there, I can guarantee you wouldn't have done that. I just kind of feel that's a little bit of a weird move and for very little reward. I mean, it would have been an awesome performance and geez, I mean, yeah, for sure, classy bike rider. Um, but tactically, I don't know who came up with that idea or if it was even an idea, but I just think when you got a guy like Caden sitting in the wings, um, could clearly do with some support. And possibly win that stage. I mean, he was right up there. What was he, second or third? Um, yeah, just I question that and go like, why? Why on this day? Why don't you try it another day? For me, it was heroic and it was cool, and it was very Vanderpool. But
I think yeah, I think it was a bit of a bet they made, like a joke at the start. They said let's do it, and if he had won, we would be saying they were a genius, right? So there was a 700-meter difference there between like why are you doing that and like you're a main
Well,
you're
700 meters in that realm of that world is miles away. You know,
it's yeah
you
well
need,
no it's
you
only 20 30 seconds.
oh no, I'm not, but I'm just gonna say it like
Yeah,
the chances of riding away from a full peloton, like, yeah, I mean, you saw the teams chopping off. They were going. I mean, Vanderpool was going. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he's so bloody strong. Um, yeah, I just kind of feel like there's not many opportunities for guys like Caden that left and just, yeah, wow. I mean, I know you guys won a stage, you've had your yellow, you've had your time, but then yeah, exactly. Someone else could have these moments, you know?
I think you're
Must be
looking
nice
out
to
for
be
your
in that
mate.
place of confidence of like, I've won so many stages, I've had the yellow, I don't actually care. Let's just, as a team, we'll just throw it out there. That must be cool. Plenty of teams would have loved to be in that boat.
Yeah, well, I'm good that you're looking out for your mate, eh, Caden? Isn't he a good friend of yours?
Yeah, I mean, I used to race with Caden, but besides being my mate, I just kind of feel for him. But I'm just like, oh, they had an opportunity that day. Different if Jasper was out and they didn't have a second sprint, and he was, you know what, I'm going to throw in a heroic performance today and see if it pull it off. But you have got someone there that can go toe to toe.
Let's talk a little bit about the days coming up because we have some hard days. We have Toulouse coming up here on Wednesday, which has got a few climbs actually at the end. So the sprinters might have a tough time there, even though it's labeled as flat. Thursday, Ottokam, and before that, Col du Soulon, which is also a tough climb. 3,800 meters total, 180K. That's, that's where Visma sealed the deal when they won their first tour, where they just put the nail in the coffin on Tadej. He might be looking for revenge on that day because that's where Bart really was one of those days where Bart played a key role in securing that victory. So that's going to be a big decider day. Mountain time trial, only 10K, and like we already talked about that, but I think it's 7.6% average grade. That's going to be like who's the best climber, right? That's going to really show. I think it's going to be a real battle between the top two guys today and Jonas. And then you mentioned earlier the Saturday. That's the last really big mountain day for the next few days. But that's close to 5,000 meters total of climbing with some of the big climbs in the Pyrenees. So I think the top 10 overall it could be completely different by the time we get to the end of Saturday's stage. What do you think?
Yeah, and I think if you look at Saturday, it's like a long valley, probably for half the stage. So we're talking 5,000 meters, potentially, let's call it, say, 4,500 meters because they would have climbed up in the valley. But you're looking at 4,500 meters probably for the last 100K. Um, that's where the damage is going to be done. You know, that's a mega day. That's going to be tough. Yeah, there's going to be a clear sign even after that. I mean, that individual time trial today and Jonas probably be pretty close. Remco, I mean, I don't know if Remco would win up there per se. I think once the road goes uphill like that, I think it tips into the two other guys' favor. But who knows? Remco's still the world champion, and he's could be one of those guys. I think Remco's riding a smart race. He's kind of like letting the two of them unfold, and then if he gets a bit of a gap, he knows he can't really probably go toe to toe with those guys yet. But that's not to say, like in the third week, that the guy like Remco, if he has his day, he can't produce a superhuman performance. So, yeah, I think it's we're in for a good week. I think good week of racing, and it's good to see the big boys are going to, well, big GC guys are finally going to have to show something. Um, yeah, we want to
Yeah.
see a bit of bike racing, no?
Yeah, it's gonna be good. I feel like today he's almost like making a few alliances with like I think he likes Remco, he likes Vanderpool.
It's
I
like the
think they
World
kind of
Champion Boys Club, isn't it? It's like, if you
seems
won
like
the
it.
World Championship, you can come hang out with me.
Yeah, but it was interesting. Like also last year, it happened the same time where I think it was the second last day where Remco was attacking and today he was not reacting. He would let Jonas always close the gap,
Yeah.
and he was almost trying to help Remco get that second spot. And I feel like he would be happier to see Remco beat Jonas. I think he's kind of annoyed with
Oh,
Visma.
no doubt. Geez, I had the same at South African National Championships. It's a very different thing, but like at some point you just get pissed off, right? And you're just like, right, I'm actually willing to lose this just to flick you to teach you a lesson to stop like racing like this. Like if you're just gonna have eyes on me the whole time, there's gonna be opportunity for someone else to leapfrog you. And actually, I don't care anymore. Even if it comes to I've got to do some really hard groveling, but it's not going to be only me groveling. It's going to be you as well. At some point, you're going to have to also put your nose in the wind and go, oh, I've still got to get ahead of Remco. So I think it's good for Tadej to make some alliances and use some other guys. He obviously won't let Remco get out of sight, but it could be a good advantage for him.
And I think, you got Roglic and his teammate who are just kind of hiding out there, not really making any waves. I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if Roglic will come in to some better form in these next few days. We'd like to see him up there. He's been a little kind of nonchalant in the beginning of the tour, saying he doesn't care. Probably not the best thing to say for his sponsors, but I don't know if it's just a tactic, if he's hiding his game a little.
Yeah, we will see. We will see. Tomorrow is
Yeah.
tomorrow. Yeah, he gives the best interviews, doesn't he? Sometimes it's just like, I will see. It's hard. It's hard for everybody. Yeah, yeah.
He's always got a big smile, though. That's for
No,
sure.
no,
He's
he's a good
got a
dude.
good attitude, eh?
He's a good dude, and he's one of the old dogs, and he's probably just got to a point with like, you know what? I've crashed so much. I've done like the tour. Yes, it's not an obsession of his. He's done so much, and he understands. I guess he understands too. Like all my stars need to line up for me to feel great and to win this thing. So he's not going to win from where he is right now. That's probably great for him just to ride without a bit of pressure, but he'll be there. He'll have his day where he does potentially something. He goes all in for the stage.
Yeah, yeah, he's a legend. He's got a cool vibe. A lot of people support Primoz.
No, it's good.
Nice. All right, so let's talk a little. Should we go over some of these questions, or what do you
Yeah,
think?
sure.
Yeah. One of the questions we had was, what is in your time? What do you see as the biggest tech changes that have really impacted the sport? Also, I guess negative impact. I guess for me, I wasn't racing at the World Tour like you, so I don't have the same perspective. I think racing with the data has positive and negative impacts. I've seen younger guys coming through the ranks who they're so fixated on their power, and that's everything. And they think they're going to get into the World Tour because they put out World Tour power. They don't place as much focus and emphasis on racing and tactics like we used to do when we were younger. We were always about tactics and how do you win and how do you ride efficiently, whereas their focus mostly is like numbers, like how do I improve my threshold power, how do I get my VO2 5-minute power higher. So I think that's a little bit of a negative impact from the tech side for it, from my perspective as a coach, because to win a bike race, as you know, it's a lot more than having high power numbers. But for you inside the peloton, what do you think have been some of the big the biggest tech changes that have impacted the sport, and also negative impact as well?
I mean, biggest tech changes are like equipment. I mean, equipment, tires, skin suits, helmets. That's all aerodynamic. That's changed the game hugely. I mean, we're seeing the bikes are much faster these days. In terms of things off the bike, it's more that knowledge has become so freely available for everybody. So the element of surprise is gone. A lot of the teams, a few years ago, it used to be step out your car, see the wind direction. Okay, it looks like a tailwind today. But now, like everybody's using apps and which way is the wind going? A Velo viewer to see the course. There's so many things at our disposal that the element of surprise is gone from everybody. So you'll get to a race and you'll see like everybody's fighting for the right-hand corner. It's purely like whichever team gets in there first is probably going to, have an advantage. But yeah, it takes out that captain on the road that has to like, hey boys, the directors in the car used to just give some like, okay, the stage is 180 k's long. At kilometer 120, we've got a climb coming up. Heads up for that. Didn't know narrow, bigger road, smaller road, none of that. Whereas then you would rely on your team captain to be out there and be like, oh, what's the weather doing today? Oh, gee, there's black cloud coming. Probably going to be rain at the finish. Probably going to get a rain jacket now. Make those decisions. Whereas that's all gone now. Like you got a van course, hey, it's raining, guys are coming back for a rain jacket. It's just taken out that surprise element. You very rarely find a team surprising someone. in the races. I mean, I know Jumbo, we've seen them do some cool stuff at like Pyrenees that one year where they just launched up the climb and all rode away. And everyone's like so shocked. But everyone's so shocked because everybody's like got their script from their team that all the scripts read the same. Narrow, this climb, oh, it's 1K long, it's not hard. But now it's about thinking, how do we, now you've kind of got to think like, okay, with the knowledge that everybody's got, how do we use that knowledge to try and beat the other teams and still create a surprise element, which is super difficult to do. So I think that's the one negative I'd say. Like, I don't really think riders are too much fixated on like, I mean, it comes from like those days where Chris Froome was looking down at his power meter. But even if he didn't have a power meter, he'd probably still ride with his head down like that. Obviously a power is a great reference, but I don't think it's like if you're trying to win a race, well, today's riding there at the end, he's not like, oh, listen, I'm on 400, I better stay on 400. He's smashing it. When he's going with Jonas up the climb there and he's giving it everything, he ain't looking at his power there. He's just going like, am I dropping him or not? I think that's a huge thing. That element of surprise is gone. And that's a huge negative. But I think I do love the way the sport is progressing in terms of speed, in terms of everything else. And like I said to you in that last thing where we were talking about the safety and people want to make it go backwards. I think it's more like make a safer course and then it will also be okay. And I don't know what the way to solve these things are, but I think the sport's it is progressing and it's progressing faster than what we can deal with at the moment.
Yeah, hopefully the UCI doesn't get too crazy. That was funny because the handlebar thing, I was looking at GCN, they were measuring the new rules, and everybody was at the tour. Pretty much every single rider was within the rules when they look at the drops, but then pretty much everybody was out of the rules when they look at the hoods. Whoever came up with that new rule with 32 centimeters between the hoods, I don't know who measured that, but there clearly wasn't much thought in that, because even I think Mike Woods had outside to outside, his bar was 44 centimeters, and the new regulation is 40, so 4 centimeters narrower than what he had. And yet his hoods were like pretty much just like within regulation, I think. So that just shows you, no, they didn't put much thought into this new regulation. It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Like you ever decided, I mean, like for the women, for everything, it's like, I mean, even now that I'm helping some guys on the track and stuff, it's just like, where does this rule go to? Like, and what's the point? And do they understand? Like, not everybody in the world has just got, not everyone is a professional cyclist, but is riding UCI races. Not everyone can just go now and buy new handlebars. Like, you know what I mean? Like the impact on everyone. It's just, I think there's so much other things to worry about than the size of your handlebars. Like that, but you know what it is? It's like just doing something to say, look, we're trying to do something. It's not actually addressing the problem, but it's like, look, we're doing something now. Like we've been doing things over the years. So name one thing they've done for safety over the years. Well, we put a bigger pillow at the roundabout. What are you talking about? Yeah. Okay, so if you do hit into this wall, you've got a bit more cushion. Like, oh, nice one.
Yeah, no, we could spend hours talking about this.
8 months.
Yeah, so we had a few more questions, and that one was from Office Guru Racing. I think you know who that is, right?
No, that's the boys from South Africa. So they're listening, eh? They're tuning in.
They are, yeah. They're helping us.
Tuning in, Wood.
Spreading the word.
All your American people, like you didn't even understand what I said there.
Yeah, they're tuning in. How's it, bro? How's it? All right. So we also had Michael, a good friend of mine. Michael, he's still in Cape Town, another South African. Giro in June. Why not better weather for the Giro? Why not push it a few weeks later? What do you think?
Well, I think no one would be watching the Giro as heavily as the Tour de France. I mean, maybe, but I think it would be too difficult to, the Tour rules the calendar. That's to put it how it is. I mean, all the stakeholders, everybody knows how important the Tour de France is, all the sponsors. July's an epic month. Everyone's on holiday or it's leading into holidays. So yeah, I don't know if that would work in Italy. I think the awesome part would be to make sure that each Grand Tour has a similar level field or the same guys. That would be quite cool. But it's just too demanding. 3 Grand Tours for any rider would be epic. I think I quite like it how it is. I think it also opens up to different kinds of riders. Like some riders adapt well to the heat, and some riders do better in the colder, rainy conditions, which is like the Giro. So I think it's that's quite nice. Makes the Giro like each race got their own talking point. Like the Volta is just stinking hot. The Tour is just like super intense, plus the heat. And then the Giro is like, it could be raining and freezing and snowing. And are we going to use the Mortarella this year? It's like, then they got the snow plows out. And I think it's the
Well,
beauty of the sport.
I don't know if you remember back that long ago, Daryl, but when I started racing back in 1989, when I was
I
13
can't
years
go back
old.
that far.
Yeah, you weren't even born, I think. But no, you were. But I remember back in those days, the Tour of Spain was in May, the Giro was in June, and then there was a 2 week break, and then the Tour de France was like I think 2 weeks after the Giro. So it is something they have done in the past, and that was also quite interesting having the Vuelta back in May in the old days. But I think the new format, it does work well. I agree with that. But yeah, so another question, Jason Bailey, another Cape Townian, someone in Cape Town, who's also helped us get the word out for the podcast. Last question we'll touch on today about the Rwanda World Championships. He's asking, there's been a lot of negative press about having the Worlds in Rwanda, and just wanted to get your thoughts on what do you think about having the Worlds there?
Yeah, so this is the part that gets me like a bit pissed off about like all these other nations because so they see Africa as just this like I don't know how they see us. They see us as like this I'm going to Africa. Like literally, like it's just another country. There's beauty around it, like everywhere else in the world. Yes, sure, it's not perfect. Yes, don't have as much as other countries, but would they be able to probably put a bike race on and create a safe environment? Probably, for sure. Every rider that I know does Tour of Rwanda from my team every year goes, Rwanda's a great place. Gee, it's going to be awesome to have the World Championships there. They're going to have such a crowd. It's going to be awesome. It's just like this culture change that people don't understand. Like many nations, I see countries now complaining about, Rwanda, it's so far, we've got to fly riders, it's too expensive. But you have the World Championships in Australia, even further down the road. And no, they're spending money there. No problem. Go out 2 weeks earlier to adapt and to time. No, there's no problem there. Put it in Africa, and all of a sudden, parents, people are like, "Well, I'm not sending my kid there. Something's gonna happen." Like, it's like at some point, you got to actually realize, like, I get like a bit irritated by it all because it's. I come from Africa. I know what Africa's like, and like, if South Africa was having the World Championships, would I say South Africa can pull it off? For sure they can pull it off. Can they make it an awesome race? They can. So I just feel like, now like some countries are like, I'm not sending my kid there, or I'm not going to race there. It's Africa. That's like, hold on a second here. Like the first time that like when we go race in China, when we go race in Asia, it's also not perfect. Man, we did Qatar. Nobody can tell me Qatar was an awesome World Championships. Yeah, maybe they've got infrastructure and it looks cool. But you're racing in a desert on a flat road where nobody even comes to watch. Like, but we don't mind spending money there. The flights are further. No, everyone will go. But now because it's Africa and it's got this like stigma to it. Like, I think it's awesome that it's going to be in Africa. You know, and I just think that other nations need to like also suck it up. Like, do you know how many times people from Australia, parents from South Africa, parents from America, where cycling's not the hub? You know how many times you've had a world championship in Europe? So suck it up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, move on. Times have changed. And, like, stop complaining about the price of flights where every other country who's got less than you makes it happen. How do you think
Yeah.
Eritrea? How do you think South Africa? How do you think all these other countries go to the world championships in Australia? Yeah, we have to spend money, of course. But, like, we've got less than you. What are you talking about? Like, it's so annoying.
Yeah, no, yeah, it is. I mean, South Africa had the World Cup soccer. That's like the biggest like event on the planet, and they
You
pulled
can
that
see
off. The
people going,
Rugby
I'm
World
not
Cup.
flying to South Africa because the World Cup soccer's there.
Yeah. So yeah, so Rwanda can definitely make it a great event. They've had the Tour of Rwanda for a long time. I think ASO is involved there as well. So yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be a great event, and I think those who embrace it and really go for it, it's a big opportunity because if 10 or 20% of the field who would normally be there decides not to, then you have an opportunity with a bit less competition to really do something there.
And I also love the fact that like everyone is going to a different environment. Like, sure, the Rwandans and all of them are like training at home, or some of the Africans are more used to that kind of culture or that lifestyle. But I love how everyone is thrown out of their comfort zone going there. And it's not like, oh, you're racing in Italy and this guy's got a guy to motor pace him and he's got a route and he's got a cool hotel and they've got their team bus from, from UAE they're going to use. And I love that. I love it. Like it levels the playing field and it's like, welcome to the real world. Let's use a good bike rider now. Like you're not going to have, yes, maybe you can't go motor pace 200 Ks and you don't know the routes but you know what? Suck it up. Like let's get a world champion. Like world champions, they always rise above everyone else. So different environment. I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
it's gonna be. I think it's also at altitude, right? And it's quite hilly.
Yeah. Fatsua, as
So.
they say in South Africa.
Cool. All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up. Guys, please help us get the word out. Subscribe, Spotify, Apple, on YouTube, Crankly Speaking, and leave us some comments. You can either leave us comments on YouTube or Spotify, and also you could even email us as well. Easy one for email would be my coaching, Simon Says Cycling at Gmail. If you want to email me questions, I'd happy to take those, and we'll be happy to discuss those on the next podcast. Daryl, anything else before we see this epic battle coming up in the next few days?
No, I just look forward to it, and we'll catch up next week again, and hopefully we've got a bit more clarity of who the big dogs are. Although we know who they are, but let's see the damage. So have a good week, everyone. Enjoy the best week, second best week probably. The last week will probably be the best week, and the Tour de France is here.
See you. Cheers.
Cheers.